Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Okay, today I'm gonna give hello everybody, how are you all doing? Okay, today I'm gonna get with what I'm doing as far as I've gotten all the way to chapter or study module 10 on the training course, and that's the last module for this course. Well, what I'm gonna do is kind of go over like a rough summary of what the other modules were, and explain to you. Like, I wish I had some. Like, I looked on YouTube to try to help myself see if I get a better understanding on the material and what it would take, how much time, how much effort to go through this, how much time should I set aside to work on this course. And there was nothing on YouTube. It was just more of the certified trainers that were working with ISSA, not so much people that went through it or going through it. There was no one mentioning anything about it. So, when you go through, say, the company of ISSA, they don't realize that people like you and I, we're not familiarized with what goes on as being a trainer. They talk to you as if you already are a trainer or you should know certain things already. But if you're like me, I'm 53, I haven't done a course or school in quite a while. So it's kind of like, okay, just give me some tips or, what to expect, So what I'm trying to do is give you kind of a idea of what it takes to do this. First of all, if you're on here to learn to be a trainer, I'm gonna try and go through each module, kind of give you a summary of what each module holds on it and what you're gonna be reading and what you're gonna be learning, all the way until I take the final test, the final exam. I'm gonna submit it, and then I'm gonna show you the certificate that I passed it. And so far, it hasn't been that hard. It's just a lot of reading. But they have live videos, well, so-called live, because they have live sessions. And then what they have on the course here is pre-recorded live sessions of each module. So they kind of go through the chapter with you, not the whole chapter, just like I'm gonna say, I guess, the vital parts of it, where I'm guessing where they're gonna be testing you on. And then they also have a workbook where you could go through it and take the test yourself, like practice test yourself, try to test your information, see if you're retaining the information or a way to help you retain the information. It's not that hard from what I see. And then you could take the quizzes. Each chapter has a quiz at the end. You could take those as many times you want. But you can't get to the next quiz till you pass that quiz. And like I said, you can take the quiz as many times you want. Whatever you failed, just study those questions that you didn't get right and kind of brush up on those questions. And when you're ready to take it again, take it again. I don't care. You can take it 100 times if you want. Just get yourself familiarized with the questions. I think there's a lot of extra content in there that you really don't need, and that's why I was talking about like the the other stuff is more because when they tell you the live session, the recorded live session, you can tell that what they're really going to be asking you about in the tests. So, and then they got videos explaining certain parts of the chapter. So you could, there's videos you can watch, you can read it, you can do the course book, the workbook, and you can listen to their live pre-recorded sessions through the whole chapter. And I'm going to say this first certification, a personal trainer certification, I'm going to say it's all kind of like generic information. Some of it's helpful information, but I think it's the stuff that they kind of bunched everything into this one course just so you get your certification as a personal trainer. And then they got other courses where you could kind of add to it, and so you do each course separately, just like the personal trainer course. Once you pass that, then you, like me, I got 4 of the modules or 4 of the certifications I go for, and it's going to go through the same kind of situation that I'm going with this one. So, but the certificate for this part helps you get in the door. And as you're taking the other ones, you kind of like, with hands-on, learning it with the material, the course material, it kind of helps you retain the information, understand the information. Now, that's how I do on that part, and then there's other parts here where there's an app that you could download on your phone, and the app is called, I took some notes just so I can give you some good information. So the course material that I'm using to give you information is material from ISA. Now there's one that's called Pocket Prep for CPT. It's an app you can download into your phone, and they give you a bunch of tests to quizzes, like to where you can keep on taking them every day and get better and better at the questions and get to understanding it better and better. It's kind of like when I went for my CDL. They give you a lot of information in the beginning, and you wondering how you're going to pass it. Well, I did that app every day, and when it came time to actually take the test, I was ready. I mean, it was a piece of cake. So I would advise that you download that Pocket Prep for CPT. You'll find it in your app store. It's free, and I would just practice on that, and get real used to. It'll be so simple. But now, so with chapter 1, that's what I'm gonna focus on today. Oh, another thing, if you're watching this to become a trainer, this is the information I'll be giving you. If you're wanting, like, say, some advice or whatever, or because you want to start exercising, start getting in shape, or start, getting in a better, healthy position in your life, then I'll give you some tips on that. So right now I'll give you some of that. If you're barely beginning, depending on your age, I'm 53 and I do work out. I do, you know, I get a, there's a lot of people going to tell you, after 50, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. It's bad for you. You know your body. Me, I've always been very physical, and I, all my jobs have been very physical. I never stopped. I worked out here and there through the years. I'm gonna say every year I've done like 2 or 3 months of working out, but then, work takes over on you. And so I was never really able to focus fully 100% on it. But I always stayed physical. I've always worked with my hands, always lifting things, moving things around. So in essence, I was still exercising and working out, because of the work that I did. It was a very physical type work. And whatever job I had, I was not one to stand around and watch other people do it or wait for people to get started. I was always a go-getter. I was always jumping in there, knocking it out. Even if they're sitting down and not doing nothing, I didn't care. I just went and did what I had to do. So I always moved. It was always hustling. My weight always stayed about the same. And so, with that being said, that's why I say it depends on you. If you're someone that it was used to working in an office or did do really nothing physical in your life, I'm not saying that you're not in shape or whatever, but certain parts of your body, certain part like your muscles and your back or whatever, they're not as strong, so you'd have to be cautious of how you work out. Me, because of the work I've done, I'll always do, still do, right now I deliver ice all over the valley, and I deliver by the bag, you know what I mean? So I would put I do 40-pound bags of ice. So I would throw 15, 20 bags of 40 pounders, run it into the restaurant on a dolly, break each one up, pour it into the ice machine. There's a lot of restaurants that do that because they can never get their machines to stay working. No matter how much work they put on it, they always break down. And these restaurants, they take a lot of, they got 600-pound capacity, 800-pound, 1,200-pound, all the way up to 2,000 pounds worth of ice, which is 50 40s. And that's what I do. I go and I load them, I throw them on a dolly, I'll go inside, I'll break them open, and I'll pour them in. And then I'll come out, get another 20, go back in, do it again, until I fill them all the way up. But that's what I do. So, there's times I would do a full truck, which for us, it's a 24-footer. We put 8 pallets, which is 400 bags. I would finish a whole truck in my shift. So that's why I say that I've always been a physical person. So with that being said, I do workouts that I like I love deadlifts, I like squats, I like bench press, pull-ups. I'm not good at pull-ups. I'm 230 pounds, and I'm not the best shape either. I still got a gut, but I still do all that, and it doesn't bother me. I use a belt because I don't care what the weight is. I got to protect my body, my back. My back I have a good strong back, but I got to protect it, to keep it that way. When you're in your 50s, you do have to take precautions on what you're going to do. It's not like when you're young, you hurt yourself and you can heal right away. When we get older, sorry about that, truck going by. But as you get older, you don't heal as fast. You don't recover as fast. So I use a belt. I don't care what people say, what they look at me. If I'm going to do a squat, I got a belt on. If I'm going to do a deadlift, I got a belt on. Bend over rows, I got a belt on. I do RDLs, I got a belt on. Anything with your back, take care of it. Do mobility work, do stretches. If you're barely beginning and you're over 50, start simple. Start real simple. Start with walks. Make some goals of how far you want to walk. See, I got a watch, and I use the heart rate monitor to kind of help me pace myself to where it's at a right heart rate. They're cheap. You can get them anywhere. They're cheap. All you need to do is check your heart rate. Keep it at the right level. You can find out. Ask your doctor what's a good heart rate to keep your body going. There's a table in here, and I'll look it up, and I'll give you the formula how to figure out what your heart rate should be. I mean, closest, give or take, approximate, But yeah, just start slow. And if you start working out, go simple. Use lightweight. Nobody's gonna laugh at you. Nobody's gonna make fun of you. Everybody started there. If anything, they're gonna, say they're gonna. If you got questions, ask somebody. Don't, people in the gym, they get the bad rap of being like tough people or tough guys, tough girls, and they look mean because they're working out. No, they love giving you information. They love it. It helps feed their ego. They they like giving information. They're not stuck up to where they won't give you information. But start slow. If you get, I would say get a trainer if you're not used to it or you're a little intimidated. But to be honest, you go on YouTube, pick a few exercises off of YouTube, try them out in the gym. Just remember to watch your posture, watch how you put your body. There's a lot of instructions on YouTube. And as I go through this, I'll start showing you how to position your body better. Right now I'm working on getting a spot to where I'm looking up for equipment so I can put it into a warehouse that we have. And I'm going to get a little section of that warehouse. I'll put some equipment in there. And as I pass this course to start progressing, I'm going to start doing instructional videos as the best as I can. And I'm not ashamed to say, hey, if anyone out there, or I'm not embarrassed, or, if you got any suggestions, give them to me. You know what I mean? If you have a gym out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and you need, or if you could help someone like myself to get better at this, I would appreciate it. You don't got to pay me. I just want to learn. Okay? I will show up. The only thing is I have a job, a regular job, but whenever I get out of work, I'll go straight over there. All I'm looking is for guidance and what to look out for. So when I teach people, I don't get them hurt. I want them to be solid. I want to be on a solid foundation of exercise, to start it off and progress gradually. But that's what I would do. I want to get all this equipment over there. As far as this turning into a money pit, making money, I don't know how that's going to go, and I don't really care. If it turns into something good, good. If it doesn't, I'm still going to put videos because I want to help you guys. But you're going to go with me through this journey of passing these courses, and it's like watching a baby start crawling all the way, walking, running. That's me right now. I'm that baby right now. And but I love helping people. I've always been that guy to help people. Always tell people, give people advice, especially young people. Because I see them starting off with no hope in the world, especially in this world. And I kind of help them see their worth. Instead of beating them down, I show them what their worth is. I do lead them to God. I try to, don't mean to, but I live for God. So when I talk with the love of God. So when I see young people, I like to help them get on the right path, and not so much religion, but on the right path of getting an education, get a good job, take care of his family, um, you know, and practice living a good life. You know, living a good life is not something you just are. It's something you build. It's something you create, and every day is closer to that goal. You know, a good life is different in everybody's eyes, but I try to start these young guys or these young people on the right path. I want to build them up. I want to build some encouragement in them. I want them to know that they're worth something, that they can make something of themselves, uh, that they're not what people tell them they are. Anything can be done if you have the will to do it. And, all they need is somebody to talk to. A lot of us, Gen Xers, we beat these kids down. We talk a lot of trash about them. Oh, they're lazy. They're not like us. We weren't like that when we were young. Well, I hate to break it to you. Those are our kids. What they are is what we taught them. Who bought them the video games? Right? Who bought them the computers? Who bought them the laptops? I take my blame for that. Like I tell other people, we created that. Now we got to be there to support them, help them get better, help them see a different light. Don't beat them, raise them. I don't care if they're 22, 23, 24 years old. They need to be raised. When I was young, I was 5, 6 years old. I was already working the backyard of my grandfather's house. We didn't eat breakfast until we finished the work. But that's how we were raised. Somehow, when we had our kids, we wanted them to have everything we didn't have. So what did? We gave them everything we didn't have, but we didn't give them discipline. We didn't raise them to learn how to work with their hands. You know how many young people I see out there that they can't problem solve. Simple things. I just had one today. He was in the truck. He gave him a different truck, and the light was on, the cab light. And he sent me a text. How do I turn this light off? To us it's funny. Look for a button, tap the light, check your door. Those are easy things for us. But that's what I'm saying. That's what's wrong, is these young people can't even problem solve on something like so easy as that. We developed that, so we can't talk trash about them. Humble yourself and teach them, talk to them. Sometimes a little scolding helps, but scold them for a way to where it doesn't break them down to where they feel, insecure or inferior. We want to make them feel good. We want to feel confident. We want them to feel that they could take on anything. Our parents did it for us. Let's do it for them. I don't care if it's somebody you never met. Teach that kid. If you see somebody that's asking you questions all the time, humble yourself and help them. That's something I do every day. Now, I'm not saying I don't get frustrated. sometimes these questions they're a little frustrating. Some things that could be simply solved, they can't solve. But you just gotta bite your tongue and explain to them. Explain how you like it. Sometimes you gotta lead by example. All the guys I take and train, I do all the work so they see what it takes to get it done. I don't make them do all the work. I share the work with them. So what I want to also tell you guys is I was trying to learn editing. I suck at editing. I'm not giving it up. I just gotta practice more. But give me time. But I think this is better, don't you? No edits, straight person to person. Not hiding anything. I feel this is the better way to communicate. When we're out there in the world and we see each other and we're communicating, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, wait, let me go edit this answer or edit this conversation before I come and talk to you." No, I talk to you person to person. Respect. Professional, right? So I feel that's a better way of communicating. I don't think I should have to learn to edit to do this, but I'm going to learn it only because I told myself I'm going to learn it. Maybe in the future, as I'm doing more of the instructional videos of being a trainer, or not being a trainer, but actually training, then I'll start editing so we could get more into the video. More instruction into the video. We cut out the fluff and give you what you need. And I do have a partner that he knows how to edit and all that. It's funny, man, because he's like a whiz at this, and me, I feel like, wow, I'm way back here. Like I feel like the guy that sat in the back of the classroom. But I'm gonna learn it. And I know this video didn't give you much information, but I'm going to break these chapters down, and I'm going to break them down in sections to where I think it would help you, and where I feel that it would be good for you, and kind of cut out the fluff. If anything, I'll go over the fluff so fast where it won't take much of the video. But also, if you're barely starting to work out, remember, if you're after a certain age, after 50 or whatever, you never worked out, talk to your doctor. If you need a meal plan, talk to your doctor. He can set you up with a dietitian to get you a meal plan. Okay, trainers are not allowed to give you meal plans. It's a dietitian, because we don't know what ails you. A doctor does. Supplements. You can talk to your doctor, talk to a pharmacist. They could tell you what's good for you, what's not for you, what's not good for you. But we cannot do that. We could give you general knowledge of what it does, what it's used for, but we can't say, hey, why don't you take 5 milligrams of creatine daily. We can't do none of that. That's something that you got to do. We could tell you what creatine would do for you. We could tell you what your vitamins would do for you, or your macros, protein, carbs, and fats. We could tell you what those would do for you, but we can't tell you, eat this much, do this, eat this meal. We can't do that. So just keep that in mind, right? And when you first start working out, don't worry about a diet. Eat like you normally would, okay? After you get it about a month, 2 months, then start gradually working on a diet. But the only thing I would say is get enough protein in. Focus on protein. Ask your doctor, but protein is very essential. It helps you it helps heal your body. It supports illnesses, helps you get better. It supports everything on your body, you know, to grow, to heal. So, you know, focus on your protein and then work on anything else. But don't go crazy on a diet. You don't need a diet yet. You're working out, you're starting exercise, you're gonna just start shedding fat automatically because you haven't worked out and it's something new for you. So your body's gonna respond with dropping some pounds. Now in the beginning, it's gonna be a little water, but after a couple weeks, it's gonna be beyond water and it's gonna be a little fat and you're gonna see it. And then you're gonna get excited. And then you're gonna start posing in front of the mirrors. You know, you're gonna start flexing. You know, believe me, we all do it. You know, I just do it behind closed doors so I don't look like an idiot. You know, sometimes I'm over there and I do some goofy poses, you know, and then I look down and I see my gut. My gut's still there, but I don't care. I like the gut. I like to be healthy, and you know, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. Maybe you guys do, but for me, I like to be strong. I like to be active, but I don't want to look like, you know, be without a gut. I don't know. I like my gut, I guess. You know, I'll show you one day. I'll take my shirt off and I'll show you everything. But I don't care about, I got little love handles. I got some of those. You know, I don't care. It is what it is. But until next time, hopefully you like this content. Hopefully I can help you. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. That way it's going to help me figure out what to tell you guys, explain to you guys as we go further. You know, comments are going to help out a lot. But until then, I'll just go off what I have here and just try helping you guys out. But like I said, I don't know how this channel is going to go, but I'm going to keep on post content and I'm just going to keep on doing it. I don't care what I end up making. I know I'm looking for good deals on equipment. Because I need to show you guys some routines. You know, I'll start my videos with routines. You know, I'll start a routine. You guys can work along with me. You know, I work out like 4 or 5 days a week. I love it. But until next time, you guys have a good week. God bless you. May you shine on your day. May you shine on your week and bring your family some peace and happiness. Thank you.